Hi, this is Blake LeVine, the CEO of Bipolar, and in today's audio discussion, I want to share about being a fun and happy and joyful parent when living with bipolar disorder. I want to first admit that this has been a really adventurous and exciting weekend. We've had COVID in the US for a long time. It's the summer of 2021. It's now the middle of June, and they finally have begun, after many have been vaccinated, to start opening things up again here in Southern California. We had went, my wife and I and my son and daughter, in the past to what's one of the most spectacular and fun events that they've had out in San Diego for many years. It's the county fair, and the first time I went, my eyes lit up with excitement seeing so many fun and interesting different things, whether it be a Ferris wheel. They had giant bags of cotton candy, deep fried Oreo Snickers. If you've lost your diet just listening, there were so many other things like incredibly big pieces of chicken, huge levels of ribs, three piled high burgers, and some more things that really bring the idea of summer at a county fair into most people's minds. They do this at what's known as a racetrack here at Del Mar Fairgrounds, and they had always made it something that was very fun for lots of the local people and those visiting from all over the world to attend. But sadly, due to COVID, it's hard to have a county fair, to have thousands of people connecting and having fun, playing games and doing rides and eating, sadly, fattening foods. But they've begun to allow people. I had both of my vaccines, happily. My wife had months before. She's a medical worker. And we went to Petco Park where they play the San Diego Padres games. And right next door, they had a special army tent to give medical workers a vaccine. So we both have been vaccinated, as have many people. And my daughter, who's 12, made the U.S. cutoff where, for now, if you're 12 and up, you're allowed to get the vaccine, though they're saying they're testing to maybe have as young as 5. My son is 7, so maybe by September, October, they will do that. So what I want to share in this talk is when you have children and live with a mental illness, especially now after COVID, how do you find happiness and joy again? And what I want to say is in-person activities where you're connecting with your children. I'm married happily. Even if you're divorced, you can still do this. Try to find to be around your kids and bring them back light, happiness, and joy. And my wife and I always get along well, but sometimes, after being married close to 20 years, we separate in terms of doing different activities separately. When we got to the county fair, it was really nice. We took a long walk, and they had an exciting thing where you actually walked on the racetrack. So where the horses ride when there's horse races was open for people to park their cars and do walk to the smaller version of the county fair. So we began to walk, and my son was so fun. He chose to run along the racetrack where the horses usually go, and he was running, and then a man working there was on a tractor. He said, "You want to race, little kid?" So we raced my son. He was going with a heavy engine, and my son was on feet. Obviously, it was a close race, but the engine won. And we had a really fun time. We got in. They had all kinds of rides and sponsors and activities. It was much more small in terms of rides. There was only a Ferris wheel. There was also something my son was able to do right away, which was a merry-go-round. And that's what I want to share, watching my young son get on the merry-go-round, and as it turned over and over and was bouncing, and he was just having an incredibly happy, joyous time being a 7-year-old, being at the park and having adventure outside of the house. And these days, so many kids are on the computers and phones and all types of things. And I love technology, but it's great to be in the fresh air, connecting with different people and seeing them. And I was actually standing there waiting for him as he was riding, and I saw a woman next to me. She was very pretty, a woman, I believe, of Spanish origin or descent in terms of her ethnicity, and she had a big belly. And I used to always tell people, don't say, "Hey, you're pregnant," unless it's really obvious, because you don't want to piss someone off. So I'm a little heavy. If someone, there's a woman that's heavy and you ask if she's pregnant, it can be very mean. But she was pretty clearly pregnant, so I asked her, and she said she was doing 1 week. I said, "Oh my God, back at the fair, having a baby in a week." She was with 3 of her other kids and her husband. So this is just a way to say, find ways to be out there, whether it means walking on the beach, taking a stroll in the park. I played some basketball with my son. My kids were bickering a little bit today, and my wife was getting tired. So I took my son to go play some basketball, and he got himself 30 points. He's still learning to shoot. He can't shoot regular-handed. He has to take it underhanded, throw it from as low as he can. But he did it for a while and got about 15 baskets for 30 points. So find that. Be able to connect with your kids, connect with their energy, with their life, with their light. And remember, even if you don't have a family and you're all alone, you are loved, special, and important. And life hopefully can get better. And even if you went through a real darkness, a real struggle, you may have lost loved ones, you may have no money, little money, or enough money, but needing more for bills, for things you owe. Remember, you are so bright, valuable, and important that just like a diamond, it cannot be darkened, taken away. And even when they try, there's some part of you that is tough and strong and can rebuild. I'm Blake LeVine. This is Bipolar. We thank you for listening. Please come back to our website, bipolaronline.com, for more education and stories that will connect with you and your soul. Hi, this is Blake LeVine, the CEO of Bipolar.